Hi, Efton. Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. I know for a lot of those guys it's old news, but your whole process of having to sit out, wait, what was that like? How did you handle that, and kind of how pleased are with you with the way you're playing now?
I mean, I was just trusting the process all good. Always kept me motivated. My mom, my family, my faith. I just stayed motivated through it all, and just I pray to God that just let me play, we don't play. If he chose me not to play, I mean, I was excited. But Forbes kept me motivated, and I just kept punching the clock every day like he told me to.
After 36 minutes today as opposed to 15 against Duke earlier in the week, how much of that was discipline on defense, and how important was it for you to still be out there?
I mean, after the game for Finland, so I kind of needed that. And this game, I was just more smarter and just staying disciplined and staying smart out there.
Efton, what was the difference down the stretch for them?
I think second half, Beekman got kind of hot, and we were kind of expecting that, and we just needed to play more solid defense. And when we got stops, we were ahead, and hit a big three, and that's good.
Efton, what's the process in hurried seconds of moments like that when all of a sudden you've got to get an inbounds play and you've got 6 or 7 seconds to get something up and no timeouts? What's the process there as a team, and how do y'all figure out who gets the ball, and how did that final play come to fruition?
Honestly, it's just trusting the coaches and just follow through the game. I feel like we can do better than that and execute more. And once we do that, good things happen.
Blake Buchanan for them as a freshman. What was that matchup like? What were some things you were able to take advantage of, and where did he maybe impress you?
I think he played a little bit last game. I think he got 3 minutes for start. 3 starts. Wow. Oh no, he's a good player though. He got some good rebounds from him, and he got some putbacks, and it's pretty good. So yeah, it was good.
Anything else for Efton? All right.
I thought Blake made a couple big shots. I worked with his mom in Idaho. She was a volleyball coach when I was there. That's all I know. But I thought he had a couple. I thought he made a couple floaters, a couple tough shots that he, it was a struggle to probably make as a freshman. Those are hard shots, and he had the big play when he got to miss the shot, but got the tip in the end. It was a big play for him. I thought it was a really hard fought game. Great environment here, a wonderful fan base, cheer for their team. I thought Reese Beekman really had a great second half. I think he went on a 10-0 run by himself to start the second half. Really came out aggressive in the ball screen. Ryan Dunn played exceptional defense, had a couple phenomenal block shots, one on Hildreth, one on Carr that I can remember. I think they had a whole bunch of them. But I thought those two guys, in my mind, really stood out. McNeely, made some timely shots, especially the one coming out of the timeout when they ran the IVO to the backside flare. We ran into the screen and he made the shot. It was a good play, well executed. Coming into the game, it was real big for us to limit 3-point attempts. They're really good when they make threes. They're like 12th in the league in 2-point field goal percentage, so it tells you got to make threes. They need to make threes. We limited them to 13 attempts. It's pretty good in here. I thought under 12 turnovers would be really important. We had 12. We went back to the drop against them because it was very effective when we played them the first time. I think that's what Pitt, they looked at our game film and did the same thing. Credit to Beekman. We got into a veer back situation. He forced us to veer back, which means basically switch in the second half and to the big, and he did a good job of exposing that. So the one time we blitzed it was the one time that, he made the play. They just threw it up to the rim, and we need to get that ball. And, we got Damari in there. He's a little shorter than Andrew. Andrew's at the 4. Maybe we get that ball. They got it. They missed it, and then got the rebound. I thought those were big plays. I thought our offensive execution was very poor down the stretch. We didn't have any timeouts. Had to burn one on an out-of-bounds play to hurt us. But when we did share the ball, we had 11 assists on 19 baskets. So we needed to do that more, in my opinion. Thought we had great fight, great resiliency, tough game. They couldn't get away from us, tried. I'll probably never see Tony Bennett team shoot that point from the free throw line again. But you know, the last play was poorly executed. We run that play every day, not every day, but 3 or 4 times a week. And that ball, first of all, Cameron had no business bringing it up. It was Hunter's ball to bring. I don't know what happened there. And there's a step-up ball screen to a backside flare, like our hammer pass that either go for 2, you go for 3. You can do either one. He picked up his dribble. He's got to turn the corner. You got to set the backside flare, which was poorly executed, even though I do think Parker was open on the skip. That's where you need a timeout. We didn't have it, so you got to run it. It's not like we have it. We poorly executed, which ultimately comes on my shoulders. Questions?
Yeah. Steve, you mentioned you hit the 10 threes against them last game. Spread them out, hit the threes out of the ball screens their last time out. What did they do either differently or just better tonight?
I think Tony, I don't know if you agree with this or not, because he knows his team better than I do. Watching them on film, they mixed up a quick edge and a longer edge. On the quick edge, you have to beat them with speed and get around it. On the longer edge, what they've been doing is the guard hasn't stayed with the ball. He's dropped off and taken away the pocket pass, and they basically are in a diamond. So then you have to railroad, you have to keep your dribble and railroad the ball screen downhill and try to make the bottom guy make a decision on the roll or get out for 3. I mean, I think that's been their adjustment. You know, I'd have to go back and watch what our looks. I mean, we made 5, but yeah, I think to win here you got to make 10. You know, and we did it. And probably had a couple other good looks maybe, but I think a lot of it's our defense is obviously outstanding.
Steve, you mentioned having Damari in there inside instead of Andrew Late. Was that performance, or is there something going on with Andrew?
I just think Damari was playing better. I think, you know, he's moving the ball. He's a 3-point threat. Andrew hadn't really shot it well all day. Andrew's a steady player. I mean, he's not, you know, nothing against him. I just thought it gave us a little better chance to spread the floor with Damari. Damari was moving the ball too. He wasn't just, you know, catching it and shooting it from the logo. You know, he was moving it, and I liked his activity on defense too. And he was getting some rebounds in there, playing hard. I don't know what he had. He had 6 rebounds. Pretty good.
Coach, what does it do for you offensively when you're game planning against defenders like Reese Beekman and Ryan Dunn on the same team? There was a possession where Hunter got switched off Beekman and then had to face Dunn, and I think y'all had a shot clock violation.
Yeah, that's just poor execution on our part. The ball's got to move. You can't. Virginia's not a team you can just dribble around against. You have to dribble into the gap, knowing they're going to strip and rip you, and you have to come off the ball, kick it, and get them behind the play. They were never behind the play in that possession. And so, yeah, I mean, it's obviously tremendous advantage to have, you know, Beekman guarding the ball and then a 6'7". How tall is Ryan? He's tall, right? 8. He's tall. You know, switch out onto him like that. And yeah, it was a credit to them and poor execution by us for not moving the ball.
Coach, the
Oh, yeah.
came on.
Game on.
1 of 11 from the free throw line for Virginia. You mentioned that's not something you would expect to see at any point. Does that, when you see the struggles like that, does it impact the thought of strategy of fouling them when they get the ball to test them, or is it more the idea that they might snap out of it?
I would think his team are going to make him. I wouldn't, yeah. We weren't really that, I don't think the game was at that point. Now, maybe had it got to that point, trying to steal possessions or whatever, but typically when you do that, they step up there and make it. You know, so, I mean, I knew it should have been a tall tale sign. I've always said playing Tony's teams is like going to the dentist and having a root canal and getting your teeth pulled out. And before we got out of Winston yesterday, my entire left side of my mouth, my bridge fell out into my mouth. And so I lost 3 teeth right there coming up here. So I think it was apropos for what I was about to face today.
Hey, Coach, right here. Cam and Andrew on offense at times struggled.
Yeah.
Was there something that you saw in particular that was giving them issues, or was it just not good looks, or?
I thought Andrew had some good looks. You know, I think he has a hard time getting by Dunn, and who doesn't? Like, so it's going to be hard. It's a little bit harder for him to beat him off the dribble. I thought he had a couple pretty clean looks from three first half, and maybe second half that he typically makes. But he wasn't going to get much off the bounce today. Tried to get in there in the lane on the post up, got fouled one time. But we ran the play that Ryan Dunn blocked, his dunk. That was something we drew up. We told Hunter that when you drive that, we call it a sun's cut, or rim cut. They're all going to sink to you, and then you're going to rim cut here, Andrew, and get the ball right at the rim. And this is exactly what happened. And Dunn made it better. Sometimes the defense is better than the offense. Cam again, he just gets sped up. He's got to slow down and make plays for others. Bottom line.
Lex and then David and then we'll wrap up.
Steve, I know you're probably sick to death of talking about the metrics in quad one, quad twos, but
Yeah.
how do you get your team to kind of rebound from having this type of a close quad one loss to kind of focus at the road ahead and the 6 big games, on the horizon?
Because they don't know it's a quad one loss. For me, it's a loss at Virginia. This is the whole farce of the whole thing, right? So it's a more valuable win if Virginia's 27 and not 35. Get the hell out of here. That's the stupidity of the whole thing. That's why I refuse to acknowledge it with my players, because every game's important, not just quad ones. Okay, and so I don't get into that. I thought it was a really hard fought road game. Just like it was at Duke. We got a tough, a lot of teams are going to go on these 2 games and not. It's going to be hard for them going on the road back to back to Duke and Virginia. We got a whole court at home. Our biggest concern is Pitt, who's won more games on the road than they have at home. They won here. They won at Duke. I don't buy that narrative or that. I don't see the most important thing we need to be playing for is a double bye in the ACC tournament. Not putting the cart ahead of the horse. And so it's a fair question, and my disgust with the whole thing. And so I got all kinds of data, but I ain't about to throw it out of here. Who else got a question? David Teal. I'll call on you, David. It's like President calling on first call. What's your name, Madam Albright? Or
Helen Thomas.
That's
What's
it.
her name?
Madam Albright. What am I saying?
She was on the
I look a
other
lot
side.
like. Go ahead.
Today, Tony tied Mike Krzyzewski for the second longest stretch of winning seasons in this league. 13 consecutive winning ACC seasons. I've been in this league a while. How difficult is that?
It's Hall of Fame level. I said it last year. You guys soundbited me and put it out there for recruiting for Virginia. I said he's the best coach in the league, but I didn't say that frivolously. I say that with all good intentions and experience that I have in 35 years of knowing what good looks like and what shit smells like. And it looks good here. Okay, and so he's a Hall of Fame coach. And Virginia's very fortunate to have him here, not just as a coach, as a person, and a culture, the way they approach their staff. Love those guys. We're good friends. We compete, but that's a hard thing to do. And over time, consistency and winning is the hardest thing ever to do. It really is. And so, if you said to me, he's one of the top 5 coaches in the country. Okay, and credit to him, because it's a hard place. The first thing you got to do when you can do that is you have to have I believe you have to have a home court advantage. What has he lost here? 26 or some crazy number like that? That starts it, all right? And so then you got to go be tough and win on the road. And so, he deserves every accolade that he gets. He's the dean, in my opinion. He's the voice, maybe not the dean. He's the voice of our league. And I would like to see him take that mantle and run with it, because he's most respected coach in our league. And nationally, I think he's a guy people respect.
All right.